All right. I began my stream. Let's do this. Ooh. Oh my gosh, my mouse. No. 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 My mouse is having trouble right now. Mouse.
That's not good.
It does this every once in a while. Actually, it happens quite frequently. I think I need a new mouse. Like, it does not track, like, at all sometimes. It does not track.
Oh, interesting.
I have no clue why.
Sometimes for me, that's when you get a little bit of dust in front of the optical sensor.
Well, I've tried that too.
Or if you have a desk that doesn't reflect the laser very well.
I've got, like, a specialty mouse pad, unfortunately.
So, yeah, it's probably your mouse then.
It, like, when this happens, the light turns off on my mouse wheel. So something is not connecting properly. It's like I'll be moving and then the light on my mouse flickers. And then it just stops for a second. It's like, what the
Oh,
heck?
yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
It doesn't happen. It's not quite annoying enough for me to go out and fix it yet. But it's getting there.
All right. You about ready?
I am. I've actually been streaming for 2 minutes now.
Oh, well, perfect then. Then I'm going to switch over to my main. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pair Programming Sundays, where Kale and I are building a streaming schedule application. Hey, Kale.
Howdy.
So, where did we leave off last time?
I don't remember. It's been like a week. What were we
Yeah.
doing?
So we've been working on this for a few weeks, the basic default template. So probably something about that. I vaguely
Oh, yeah, okay.
remember us doing something with the front end view template.
Okay.
Before we look at the code, we can let me
Serve it.
create a terminal and we can get it going.
All right. There we go. Man, I can't believe I remember that. Okay,
Hey,
yep.
it shows the learning process.
Let's see. And everything's there. Yep, yep.
I believe this is right, because we removed the main front page, so it's just like a super simple hello world, and then we can click into what we have.
Great.
And these links, I believe, work. Yeah, they do. They just go to pound though.
Oh, okay, yeah. To do. Have yet to implement that.
Well, I think that once we eventually have the what is it, like the admin panel, we'll be able to fill out a form that will put in what those links would be.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, should we do that first, or should we just get the database going? Or, I don't know.
We could definitely. Do do we have all the information that we want to display on here? Let's actually go to the view page that this was on, like the file.
Okay, let's see.
I'll
So,
follow you.
uh, um, API. No, it's not there. Oh wait, let me try. What is it? Control R. No. Yeah.
Control P.
P. Okay. And I'm gonna go for what was it? Schedule. It's probably yeah. Okay, here. I kinda. I think it's this one. There we go. And this has all of our what's it called? All of our data, and it places in nicely. So really, all I would think to do now is get this data dynamically.
Yeah, which means, of course, we need to have some data in the database to get dynamically.
So do we want to do that by hand, or do we want to make the tool to put the data there first?
Well, I guess for testing purposes, we could definitely make a tool to like put the data in for us. That's called a seed.
Oh, huh. Okay. I've never heard of one of
Um,
those.
yeah, it's very helpful in automatic testing. However, in production, we're not going to have that. We would just create the form, and you'd start off with like absolutely nothing, and
Right.
then move forward from that.
Great. I apologize if you hear some vacuuming. I don't know why we're vacuuming at 8 a.m. I think my sister's still sleeping. Is vacuum. It's gonna wake her up. It's gonna be cranky. Anyways.
Well, let's what do you want to do? Do you want to create a seed to automatically add some of this data in, and then we'll get it from the database, or do we want to um, ca- create the form that will post like create the stuff in the database?
I'd say make the seed just to isolate the variables. Like, what if something's wrong with our form, or we think something's wrong with our form because it's not displaying correctly? But I don't know. I feel like it would eliminate more variables if we just seed it first.
All right. So let me show you where the seeds are going to go. They're going to go into, let's see, where is that? Database seeds. So there is a,
Database seeds. Okay, great.
and there is a file called database seeder right now, and this is um, currently it's got this commented out line, which is kind of showing you how it might work once we like
Okay.
create our own. This entire database seeder is like we can put whatever we want in here, or we can create another seed and then call that seed from here.
I'd say just go for this one. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
All right. So best practice is actually to create seeds for each like table that we're doing, or each basically like logical thing that we're adding in.
Great. Okay.
And then that way, if we end up having like 30 of those, we're just calling them from database seeder. And then we can comment out which ones we want to run or which ones we don't want to run. Sort of like what we have here.
Okay. Awesome. So that wouldn't warrant a new file per table, or
I, yeah, it would warrant. But as you've noticed, we have a lot of files already.
yeah.
So this isn't the most. We usually don't really have to care that much about the huge number of files on the back end side of
Okay.
things,
Right. Yeah.
especially in
The
deployment.
package doesn't matter as much.
Right. It's just the front end, and the only real reason we care super, a lot about the number of files in the front end is because all those have to be downloaded before the code can execute.
Okay. Right. Can't be shipping over
But
node modules.
well, yeah, and that's why we have things like Webpack that will put everything into a
Small.
single small file, or a single file. It's not necessarily
Yeah,
small.
not small. Single huge file. And hopefully not that huge, but
It can be. It can be. All right. Let's go ahead and create a new seed. So
so you
we'll
can do
use.
this through the command line.
Yep. So if you just type PHP artisan.
Tissen. There we go. And make cedar. Here we go. Okay, not enough arguments. Can I do a dash help or something? There we go. So we should name it. Well, do we even have the database in place?
Good
The
question.
table or
So
something?
let's go take a look at our migrations.
Migrations. Control P. Oh wait, I think you're there. Oh wait, no. Migration. There? Maybe? No. That's not it. That's like framework stuff. Okay, it's probably in database. Migrations, it's literally right there. Okay. So we
So
do
we
have
have two
this.
migrations right now.
Uh-huh.
One for the creating the users table and one for creating the password reset table.
Okay.
But we don't have any for anything else. Like no other data can be stored right now.
Okay.
So we probably want to change that.
I agree.
So the question sort of becomes what the name of this table should be.
Um, that's tough. How easily is it? Can we change it once we name it?
So as long as we haven't made this a live web application and we have like actual real data on it, it's very easy to change because we'll just say, you know what, delete everything and start over.
Okay.
The
So
second,
we don't have to really worry about the name as much as I was thinking, but yeah.
yeah, but the second that we start creating a bunch of code or a bunch of we actually get real user data and we start layering that on top of these changes, then it becomes incrementally more difficult because we have to change it not in one place, but in multiple places.
Okay, yes. Okay. So we'll be thoughtful about it. Man, it's like I want to add schedule in there, but what would make for a good name?
Let's think about what data we're storing.
It's the each streamer will have a single schedule. So like streamer schedule table.
Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. So we'll have like so when we have a streamer schedule table, what kind of data would be in that? And we can actually let's go to the README file.
The readme. Let's see, where is that at? It's right there. I need to use Control P more often.
Oh, Control P is the best. So I'm going, let's add another section down here and we'll do database schema. So unfortunately, I don't have a way for us to share like actual drawing or creating a ERD. Have you heard of an ERD?
Oh, it's easy relational database maybe?
Not exactly. I want to say eloquent, but that's the Laravel framework for it. Um, oh man, I had that. Okay, so the R&D is relational database.
Okay, great.
And the E is talking about the way we're displaying that data out to the screen for us. And it's not actually data. It's the relations themselves. So for example, we might put in here, we have a users table.
Okay.
And what that means is that we have an ID, which is a type number,
Right.
and it's our primary key.
Okay.
and we can actually go and take a look at. I'm gonna put the user migration to the right.
Oh yeah, just to get all the
Yeah, so we have an ID, which is a number, and to be more specific, this is a big integer.
how many bits is that?
How many bits is that? Oh, I have no idea. My guess is it's a 64 um, bit integer.
Ah,
Let's
interesting.
see. Then we have name, and that is a string.
Great.
And so we can continue building this out and sort of seeing what this looks like.
So next you have your email, I guess, which is another string,
Exactly.
and so on.
And so on. So let's actually build this out.
Okay. Let's see.
Kotali, hello, welcome to the stream.
And email verified at timestamp. Password. And then there we go.
So if we want to, do you remember how we can go and take a look at what the database looks like right now and verify what those remember token and what that timestamp really means?
It was, what was it? It wasn't artisan. It was something with a funny name as well. I don't remember.
The answer is you're right on both. You're right once and you're wrong once. It is artisan, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
tinker.
Tinker. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the answer for doing anything Laravel is usually, oh yeah, I can get to that through artisan.
Sweet. Okay. Good to know. So was it like, what was it? And then we did like find or something. I don't remember.
Oh no.
There we go. Okay.
Yes. Katali, yes, you are absolutely right. I accidentally muted Kale.
Oh, yikes.
Thank you for letting me know, Katali. And now you should be live again.
Great. Sounds like a deal. It was probably for the best because I had the vacuum on in the background. Okay. So yeah, I see the timestamp, I guess, is just the updated at, created at, stuff like that. We can't see the password though, or the what was it? Oh wait, where did my window go? I swear I had this open. What did I do with it? Let's open this back up. Where am I at? Migrations. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So I don't see the remember token, but I do see the timestamps for, and I guess that's the created at, updated at. That would make sense to me.
Right, yes. And the remember token is actually something a little bit special behind the scenes. Uh-oh. I still can't hear you. Let's. Am I echoing?
No.
Because I'm wondering, well, not to you,
Oh.
but I'm wondering because whenever I talk, the output monitor is going up too.
Huh.
Let me try switching.
Can you hear me now? Maybe I'm not speaking loud enough. Maybe I gotta yell. They're too far away.
All right, I think that might have done it.
Can you hear me? Gosh.
Now we just have to wait for somebody in the chat to
Yeah.
reply. Or otherwise, we'll just sit here and stare at our chat.
Yeah. Go Dolly. Let's see. Yay! You can hear me.
Yes. Okay. So here's what happened. Apparently, even though it told me that I was listening to the output of my headphones, it wasn't. It was listening to my microphone. So I had two audio sources from my microphone, but apparently they were off by um, a mic, like a microsecond or so, and that's what was causing that tiny bit of reverberation. So I switched it to the default out. Oh, I love computers. They always do things that we totally want them to do every time without fail.
Every time.
So what we can see is that remember token, we don't have to really worry about this right now. This is something that's happening in the background, and we won't need this ourselves. But the timestamps, what this is doing is it's adding in these created at and updated at fields for us.
Great.
We can choose to ignore them if we want to. But I mean, I've always feel that they're nice to have because you can use that for auditing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's literally one line. Like, no biggie.
Exactly, yes. Let's go ahead and change timestamps here to be the created at, updated at.
Okay. There we go.
And we could remove that remember token.
Just completely. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not really in the database.
Oh, really? Huh.
Or I mean, it's not really in this table. Like we don't have to worry
see
about
it. Yeah, we don't. It's not us to worry about it, I guess.
Yeah, it's some magic that's happening behind the scenes.
Sweet.
Okay, so with this, we can see that we're having this users table. It has the ID, which is going to be the primary key,
Great.
and then we have all this other data, which doesn't really like there's nothing else to sort of like search on for it. And if we wanted to store, let's say we want to store like a variety of links or other things, we have to decide, do we want to like add anything else to this users directory, like this users table, or do we want to create new tables for this?
I'd say definitely new tables. I think if we wanted to tack on to the users, I think that's kind of naive. I think that's a naive approach. It'd be easy, but like, I want to get into the relational part of it.
And yes, that is a good idea to sort of not put everything into users unless it actually does is relevant to the user account.
Okay. So I
So
am thinking maybe there is something that we do want to add to the users, though. I mean, maybe. I don't really know, but if we do something like if we make this a big integer as well, and then with that we come over here and have schedules or something, and then we have the ID here as well being the key, and I think this is what and then like the rest of the data. Is this how you do it? Like, I feel like this is how I'd go about doing it. I don't know if this is what's relational about it. This is actually my first time doing something like this, but I mean, schedule ID, you see the schedule ID for each person. You search them up by name, and then you get their schedule ID, and then using that schedule ID, you go get the actual schedule from the schedules.
So this is really 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 close.
Okay.
The big difference here, I'm gonna put in a bunch of lines, and I forgot the key combination to auto create all these. Oh, of course. I screwed that up. I screwed that up so badly. Okay, let's try it again. If I select all of you, and is it like Command Alt L, Command Alt L, Command Shift L? No, I don't know. Okay. I want to create. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a little bit of space to the left.
Oh, huh. I don't know. I thought you were trying to have it automatically put like a line there. I was like, ooh,
Oh
that'd
no.
be interesting.
Okay. So I want to do that. And what I want to do now is show you that, and this is what often will happen in these type of drawings here,
Mm-hmm.
is we'll say, okay, we have this slash, and then we can put a pipe in here. This is a lot easier when you're drawing it.
Maybe I'll start from the top and work my way down. Saw you.
Uh,
I did my part.
there.
There you go.
So you can see with this, we have a dash on this left,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not actually, so it's the ID here, but it's actually not going to come to the ID down here. So the schedules will have an ID, but we don't need this. We don't need this schedule ID in here.
Okay.
And do you know why we don't need that?
Well, I think it's because it's a 1-to-1. Is it because each user only has one schedule? If it were like a 1-to-many, then maybe we'd need it.
It's actually more of the opposite. We definitely wouldn't want to put it in here if we could potentially have many of them, because then we'd have a conundrum of how would we put two of these in here?
Okay. Okay.
I think it's more of we can have 0 or more. And right now we can set this as a 1-to-1.
Oh,
But we could potentially have one streamer having multiple schedules. In fact, uh, I think we do have multiple schedules.
really? Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
if we think about it, we have title 1 under schedule.
Oh, I was thinking that schedule meant like when I said schedule, I thought it was just like the entire data for their streamer page. But it'd make more sense if it were just the literal schedule on the page. It just makes it a little bit more complicated, I guess.
Well, yeah. Plus, and what we can do is, how about this? Let's try building out what this is going, like what you think it could possibly look at. Like, I'll leave this right here. Here's the data we need to have. We have all these different schedules. So this will be like the title of the stream schedule, the description for it, and the days it happens and the times.
Okay, right?
So I guess like the start times. And the lengths, like how long the stream is usually. Then we have the links for where to watch that stream, and then we have generic links out. So, for example, we have the my Twitter.
Right.
So go ahead and create this table layout the way you think that way can store all the data.
Okay, let's see. So if we had that, I would say just start simple. Uh, string is what I'm trying to say. String as well, and then we'd have the actual links, which would be, it would probably have to be a number, and then we'd have to come back here and add a links or something. And each of these links will have an ID. And they'd also have the text. And then the to, which is probably also a string unless there's some URL data type, but I don't know about that, so. After that, we would probably come over here and do events. Number. Actually, it should probably be a big integer as well. My mouse is messing up. Let's see. And so with that, then we'd pretty much have to do the same thing. So events. And then each one also has an ID. And then a title. And then links. Links ID. And it would probably be, since these are the same thing, like they've got an ID, a text, and two, we could just use this links again. That links table. Then we could have a, ooh, wait, actually that's an event. An event has a description. So I'm pretty sure that'll just be a big string. I don't know if that's a bad practice, but then we'd have the stream times, and we probably also want to make that a reference to the database. I don't know how to there, and then that would have an ID, which would be another big integer, and then it would have, I don't know, maybe a timestamp or something like that. Probably not a timestamp exactly, but maybe like day of week. String, I don't know. And maybe like a repeat string, I don't know. I don't exactly know how a stream time should be laying out, but
I think we decided that the stream times, we're just assuming that these are repeated on a week. So
okay.
We'll have like a show. So that might be, okay, we're doing this type of stream. So we're like, for example, every Sunday morning we have our pairing stream. So that
Okay.
would be one schedule.
So maybe this could be a timestamp. Oh wait, time, timestamp, something like that. Because then I'm pretty sure we'd be able to just extrapolate the day of the week and the time of the day from that one timestamp, and then use that to populate like the weekly type stuff.
All right. So is this what you think?
This is what I would think, but I think there is an issue with all this where is it? All these IDs and everything, but I don't know what it is. I don't know another way to do it.
All right. Well, let's take a look at this.
Oh wait, I might actually know a way to do it. But I'll just let
All
you
right.
explain it. Okay, I'll go for it then. So would it be something like you need like the actual relation table, so like user schedules, and so it would be user ID would be the big integer. Oh, oopsies. And then all of their links maybe. So like Oh, we'd also have to have an ID for this one. So like that?
Yes, this is called a join table. This table pretty much only exists to join two other tables together to make it really easy to query things.
Okay, sweet.
Juan, welcome to the stream.
That was my face when I thought I had it right the first time.
So let's take a look. I'm gonna look at on the right hand side. I have the streamer schedule page up. We have all the data over here right now. Um, I'm just going to look at the right and make sure that I feel that it can fit in to these rules here.
Great.
So one big thing is that we have the streamer schedule, and to build that out, we're yes, so much CSS one. This is fully styled. We're gonna ship it like this, of course. um, so streamer schedule. That's gonna like include the name, like our username, and we're getting that from the users table.
Right.
Okay. Then we're gonna have a bunch of schedules, and so each of those will have a title. So we have this schedules, and we have our title.
Okay.
We have our description in there. I actually don't see that in the schedules.
I think it's in the events.
Okay, what's the difference between I think so I think a schedule will have its own description
Okay.
because I don't know an event itself would have an event is like each day, right?
Well, I was thinking an event would be like pair programming Sundays. I don't really know why I put a title there. I thought we did have that. Wait, what? Hang on. I was like, I was going off of the where is that? I'm trying to find the standard. There it is. Standard schedule component. So if we look in the data, we have the title and the links title, and I think that was just to make sure that we could put that somewhere, I guess. Just making it customizable. I don't know if we really need that at all. But that's regarding to the page as a whole. So like what you want to pop up first thing, like at the top, I guess.
Right. And so we're going to need to store this title like the full title somewhere.
Yes. But then again, each event has their own title, has their own links, as well as the page itself has its own links. And a links
So
title.
I'm not completely sure that the schedules table is necessary, uh, because if all we're gonna do is store the title in it, then we can just put that in our users table.
Yeah, we could, yeah. Could we also do like the links for the page? Because I do think that's kind of important to have, like, oh, if you want to email me, here's my email. Something not necessarily relevant to a specific event, but relevant to you as a creator.
Right. So that's a really good question for those global links, and if we only have one of them, then we can put that into like for example the users. But if we want a little bit more control over this and we want to create multiple of them, because for example we don't want to like store a weird string, and I want to avoid the JSON type in
Right.
in the database because that's kind of cheating.
It is,
Um,
yes.
so it would be a little bit better, I think, for us to create to like the title maybe of like our streamer page could probably go into the users table.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like that's just a little bit like a little cheaty too, because what if they have multiple titles for some reason? But I don't know if we should really worry about that.
Well, so that's a feature. Do we want a streamer to be able to have multiple stream pages?
I don't really think so. I think one's enough.
Then there's only one title ever.
Okay. So then it would be something like this or something. Oopsies. String.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
So that gives us our full top title. And then we're going to have a list of these different events.
Okay.
So it sounds like we don't need schedules because
Okay.
we're going to do events. And you have that down here.
So let me. I guess we would have like. We'd do something like this then. We'd get rid of that. We'd do this. But instead of schedules, I guess we'd name it events.
Sure, let's not worry about the join table
Okay.
until we get the two main tables.
Gotcha. Let's see. Alrighty then.
So we have events. We know we need this title. So we have like title one as an example right now.
Right.
We know we need a description.
Yes.
We have that. And then we need the days that it starts.
So
So
like,
this,
yeah, we point to the stream times, and that would give you the timestamp of each time of the week, I guess, that it would happen.
right. So we definitely need to be able to like grab the start times for these.
Okay.
I also think that maybe the length of each stream might be nice too, because then you can say like, okay, on Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, this is going to be a 1 hour stream. But on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's going to be a 2 hour stream. And on Friday, it's going to be a 30-minute stream.
Okay. So what we could do then is we could just kind of start time and then have an end time.
We could definitely do that. I wonder if it would be easier for if we just instead of like playing with timestamps,
Uh-huh.
we just had that be a string.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid then we'd have trouble with like time zones.
You are correct. Yes. So if we have start, what if we add start time and length?
And length? Why would we do length?
Um, well, length of time, like how long?
Like the duration of the stream, I guess.
Yeah, like duration. So all of these are actually good ideas, and all of them have positives and negatives.
Okay. Because I feel like if we did length, like, then it would be a string, but how would that go? Would it be something like 5 hours or something?
It could be, or it could be an integer, and we do the number of minutes or hours.
Okay.
basically, in the end, we need to be able to calculate the end time dynamically or calculate how long it is and then display that.
Right.
So, uh, for example, let's go back to the standard schedule component and let's put in the length because we don't have that on the screen.
Okay. Great. So, how do we want to display that exactly? If we have like, so right now it's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right. So we want the start time and we want to like show how long it is.
At 8 o'clock a.m., let's just say CST, for 2 hours, something like that, I guess.
Sure, let's try that.
And I'll just kind of paste that in. More seating. Here we go.
And we need to do you remember
Oh yeah. Let's see.
let me grab you another terminal.
What was it? What was it? I feel like it's view something. Nope. I don't remember. Huh.
It's npm actually.
Oh yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep thinking it's view, but I guess that wouldn't make sense at all.
I mean, it is close. We could probably create a script called like, build view or something.
I'm pretty. Yeah, they probably already have that though. Like. There we go. Okay, so that works.
Do you like it?
I kind of do. I mean, I think it should be up to the streamer to decide whether they want it like that or here. I'm just gonna edit this. Oopsies. There we go. Let me just. What just happened? Oops. So either the top one or the bottom one. Oh wait, that didn't do it. I thought the watch. Oh, do you mind saving it?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Save.
So I feel like the streamer should be able to like choose whether or which way it's displayed, I guess.
Well, so it is super nice to give our users that option,
Yeah.
but there is a dangerous side effect of allowing our users to make all these different choices, which is what is the term? It's like there's a combinatorial effect here, which is every different option that our users have, we have to test all those options in conjunction with the rest of the application.
Okay.
So it makes our tests more complicated, and it increases app complexity, and therefore increases chances of bugs by a huge amount.
Okay. Gotcha.
So for this first version, let's not give our users a choice,
Okay.
and they have to do what we say.
Gotcha.
So how do we want to display it for ourselves?
Okay, so I don't like the 4 2 hours. But how else would you how would you do it, I guess? If you want to like
Well,
edit the
okay,
bottom
so
one.
the I do like this idea of like, okay, 8 to 10. What if we
Is there just a
where
semantically better way to display the length?
yeah, so what if we put into here like another p tag and we say times displayed in MDT. So whatever your local time zone is, we'll display that there.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
And then for each of these, it could be okay, so Monday at 8 a.m. And I kind of like yours does seem decently good. I like that. So 8 a.m. to like 9 a.m.
Okay.
So if we did that, that oh my sort of adding in
Oh,
that
yeah.
paragraph destroyed your CSS grid.
Dang. Who knew?
Juan suggests format it for humans. Unix timestamp on Roman numerals.
Ooh. I prefer using just dots. Just dots. Dang it. Okay, well that broke it. This is why
Well,
we
I
should
mean,
use the what's it called? What
flex.
was the name? Yeah. Probably would have been more just better able to handle that.
Well, I mean, this is the testing part. When you change something, then you have to make new changes. Then yeah,
Right.
like your CSS does rely a little bit on the structure, but it shouldn't matter too much. But
Like what I'd do for that then is just create a div, I guess. Come on. There we go. There. And then just get rid of this class. Oh wait, but this would also have to be... Yeah, that would be fine actually. Oh wait, oops. I put that with the wrong thing. um, what did I say that this was? UL. Schedule. Where is the schedule? And where can I wrap this? So this is the stream times, but it hasn't got a class on it, and I don't know why not. Why does it not?
I don't think those were styled.
I thought I had placed them. What does my CSS grid look like? Description, schedule. So there is a class dot schedule, but I don't think I ever used it. So that's awkward. There. And there. Oh wait. There. Okay. So that should fix it. Yeah, okay, great.
And of course, we would have the times displayed in MDT and like some kind of other, you know, some other way to like be differentiated from the description. But obviously,
Right.
this is not final schedule like the CSS. Laravel, you say carbon. I assume that was in reference to the timing. But do we like the way this looks?
I mean, it's definitely not easy on the eyes.
Well, okay, I don't mean like styled. I mean the dates, the times.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
And the top two, right? The 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., the 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or a.m.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go ahead and add the AM because there we go. I was thinking omit the AM if they're both in the same AM/PM type thing, but we can worry about that later.
And that's actually going to make it for less work because if we have to calculate, oh, are they both in the same time, like a.m. p.m., that actually is a little bit extra code.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Okay, so now we know this, we can go back to our README and update the sort of the database map that we have.
Okay, so we added. I don't think we actually added anything. Um,
Right, because we were trying to decide, okay, we have these events.
Right.
So we have the events, and then we have the stream times, and we were trying to decide like how do we like what do we need in the stream times here.
So yeah, so we would have. I would say like, I think it would be a lot easier to get the length of a stream if we used an end time, and I just think we'd be more versatile with an end time timestamp because you can deal with that in JavaScript, and there you can like add and subtract. Can't you? I thought you could with
Yes,
dates or something.
absolutely we can. And now that we've decided on like the two different times with the hyphen between them, having the start time and end time is actually a little bit easier for us now.
Okay, well, then how do we jam this into a table?
All right, so we have our stream time. So basically, um, we have we'll create one row in here for each of these. So like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then we'll have our start time and our end time for each one of these.
So like, so then we'd need another relational boy in this.
Maybe.
Okay.
Probably not though. I don't think that we're
Really?
gonna need a join table for this.
So how would you do it without a join table? If like
So
each
it's
event has
it's
multiple stream times?
it's exactly the opposite of what you have here. We don't need the stream times ID in
Okay.
events because we're gonna have multiple stream times for every one event.
Okay.
So it's the opposite.
So we would need uh event ID, right?
Right, exactly.
So this is one to many is what you'd call this one.
Right, yes.
Okay, great.
And so what that means is that the events table doesn't have to be aware of stream times, but stream times has to be aware of events.
Okay.
And that's kind of a lie. We're going to be able to handle the relationship, but when we don't need to say like, hey, we're going to put in a like an event ID or a stream time ID in events, and that's mainly because if we have like 4 or 5 of them, how do we do that? It's impossible.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
The only way to possibly do that would be to guess how many we have and do something like stream times ID 1,
Ooh, don't want that.
and then like copy that and like say like, oh, you're only allowed to have like 7, and they're all going to be null unless you use them. No, it's like that's terrible.
Yeah, that is. That's very bad.
Right. So we don't have to. The database is actually smart and will figure that out for us.
Okay, great.
Okay. So we have that. We have our stream times. We have our start and the end time. If we come back to events, we do have our what was this? Oh, so therefore we also don't need this links ID.
Right, okay. But the links should oopsies. Yeah, okay, that was fine. The links should have a either an event ID, I guess. But then we have the issue with the user events because
Well, let's sort of focus back on the end result here. We have this right now. Watch me on Twitch, or you'll have a watch me on YouTube,
okay, right.
and this feels like it's going to be per event.
So you're thinking there's only going to be a one link per event?
There's probably only one link of like where the actual um, like channel or the event or anything else is on in like Twitch or YouTube or wherever else we're streaming or hosting videos.
Well, what if you want like, okay, here's the stream and here are the previous videos, or what if you're collaborating with somebody and you want to link their stream?
Hmm. So that's a that's a really good point. How would we display that?
I would think with just another link.
Let's go add that in. Let's
Okay.
actually put that into the component.
Let's see. So we just come right here and we'd be like ID2. See the archives. And then, yeah, something like that, maybe?
Okay, yeah, no, I can definitely see this.
Either that or like, I'll be streaming with this person. Here's their stream too, if you wanna watch in on them, I guess.
Right. So if we're having multiple of these, then yes, we definitely do need to have a separate table for these. I guess this is the reason why I'm usually adamant about having like the actual real data in the front end when we're designing the database.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll make the wrong decisions.
Okay. So, would this do the trick having like an event ID or some kind of ID that points to what it's for?
Well, we can, but there's another problem here is we have a very generic links area,
Yes.
and that's going to be potentially multiple links too.
Okay.
Because some people might want to share their Facebook or like a meetup page or something else.
Right. Right.
So the question is, do we want to share a single table between the links on the right that are part of each event and the major links like for the entire page, or do we want to separate those out into their own tables? That I don't actually know if there is a right answer here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and honestly, I think you'd be best to keep them as one. But like the fact that user events and events, like we might get clashing IDs, so we couldn't necessarily like. I guess we could have it so that uh, if it has a whether or not like one of these will be null, like always or something. Um, so one of these is null, and the one that isn't null is the one it's for. I guess maybe.
Or we can just be a little bit simpler with it, and we could have the event ID, and we'll just say this is nullable.
Nullable. Okay.
If it's null, then this is the full page link.
So how do we designate the page link ID? Wouldn't we have to have a link ID?
Well, it would be right here.
I mean a. So when you have that ID, is it like what you just said there? It's how if each link is gonna have an ID, then how do we know if like like what page this goes to? Whose page does this go to? You know?
Oh, so yes, very, very, very good point here. We're missing something in here.
So like wouldn't it be like that?
Probably not page ID because we don't have a page title
Right.
or a
So
page table.
something maybe like that? Hang on one second.
Yes.
Okay.
So this would allow us to say, okay, every link is associated with a user, and sometimes they're events.
Okay, great. Um The only thing, it's fine. It'll be fine.
What's your thought?
What I was thinking is that, oh, if we want to display all the links, then we're going to be searching for all the links with the user ID of this user. Well, we're also going to get the event links, and maybe we don't want to display those. So I guess we would just have an if statement. If event ID is null, then just don't then do display it in the major link section. But if it does have an event ID, then don't.
Right. And so there's a couple different ways to sort of go about this. One is to take the hit on the database side and do two different queries. I want all the links that are for like the main page, and then do another query. I want all the links for each, like a query per essentially. I want all of the events with their links connected.
Okay. And I guess you could do a query like, hey, give me a link that has a user ID of this and the event ID is null.
Yeah, you basically, yeah, that's exactly what we do.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so something to keep in mind is that databases are really, really fast.
I like that.
And we're not planning on having millions of lines in this database, like millions of rows.
Well, why not?
It's just the nature of the data that we're storing in here. It's going to be a relatively small database.
Okay.
I mean, we could even do things like cap people and say like, oh, you're not allowed to have more than like 1,000 links or 1,000 schedule times.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
We could do those things to limit the usage of the database, but generally speaking, this is not going to be a database like well, even coming close to what some companies do, which is, well, we need like a 500 million rows for all of our users' data,
Whoa.
which can happen quite easily.
I guess if you're logging their every move, or maybe some sort of GPS thing, maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, or just over the years, you
Oh
collect,
yeah.
let's say
Okay.
you get 500,000 clients, and each of those clients are using it on a daily basis. You can collect a lot of data really quickly.
Yeah, at scale. Yeah. Huh.
Even then, with hundreds of millions of lines, it should not take more than 1 second to query for basic stuff. If it does, that means that there's either something wrong with the schema in the database, or the indexes aren't set properly. Which you probably don't know what indexes are, but it's a thing you can do to SQL databases to make them a little bit faster, sort of cache some of the searches.
Okay.
We won't need to worry about that at all. Um, this we'll be fine.
Okay. Great. So now that we have like this, we don't actually need this, right?
Right. We don't. Let's not create any join tables right now. Let's look at through this, and we'll do some sort of like mental joins to see if it works.
Okay. Great. So, if we want to query for, we first would query for the user, get their name, and then we'd get the title, and we display the title, and then we make sure we kind of remember their ID, um, and then we go into the links, and we search for links with the user ID of the ID that we got from the user, and then display those that don't have an event ID or that whose event ID is null. Um, and then from there, remembering the user ID, we search for events with the user ID of the ID. And we go ahead and display all of those. And then using that one's ID, we search back up into links whose event ID is the event ID and display those, and then we go back to the event, uh, and then or we remember the ID from the event, and we go look at the stream times, and we display, or we grab the ones whose ID are event ID, and display the start and end time. If that made any sense at all.
I mean, I think it does. If that doesn't make any sense to anybody watching, let us know.
I feel like I messed up a couple of times and then didn't realize, but
Well, like trying to describe out loud the schema of a database is very difficult. That's why it's really good to write these down.
yes, I agree. I never really have written this all down. This is like the first go at it.
It's helpful because how often do you then need to like change the database?
Yeah, and then trying to remember what you're changing every time, and then goodness, that'd be a nightmare.
Exactly. And so that's why we do it this way, is to sort of like think about what we're doing, be very mindful about what data we really need and how we want it displayed. And then we can go build this. This is also the reason why it's often ends in tears whenever teams decide to say like, okay, let's build one team builds the back end and another team builds the front end, and at the end we'll meet and like shove them together and it'll just work. And hint, it never works.
Yeah,
There's always a lot of changes that need to be made.
I can only imagine. Like, goodness.
All right, so we have our streamer schedule page. If we take a look, when we go to the URL, it's like localhost :8000 slash, and then in my case, I'm on Brook Zerker, or for you, it would be Kalinator.
Right.
Kalinator. We know we got that from the name of the users, so we'll be able to do the query off of the name.
So do the query. Oh yeah, okay. From the URL, yes. Okay. I see what you're saying.
What that means though is that this must be unique.
Okay.
Because if it's not unique, then you and I could essentially take the same name, and now what would happen when we try to query that?
We would find two of them.
Right, and we wouldn't know which one to display.
Right.
So badness. So we must make this unique.
So how do we make sure that it's unique? Oh,
Well,
okay. With this, I guess it's something with the database. Probably like
yeah. There's a special thing we can do.
unique.
To make it unique.
Yeah. The email.
And you see
of
that
the
we're doing it
users.
on email right now. We're just going to do the same thing on name.
On name. Okay. Well, let's do that then. Oops. There we go. There we go. Should be unique.
So that will allow us to find all of this stuff. We have our different events. We have the stream times. We have the links for both the individual and the full times. Well, it sounds to me like we can go ahead and start creating the migrations for these tables.
Yo, more artisan. Right? Or not?
Exactly. Let's go take a look at artisan. I think
we can use two for now.
Yeah, we're in Tinker, but you can get out of that too.
Okay, let's see. So, oop. We good? Okay. PHP artisan make migration, and
so here's a quick sort of hint with this if you include the word create in the name of this migration, it will include some boilerplate code for creating the table.
So, like, wait.
Take a look at how the create users one is named.
Create users table. Okay. Oh, yes, okay. So we'd say create links table, right?
Don't use capitals though.
No, okay. So create links table.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well.
try it.
Oh wait,
And
hang
then we
on
can
though.
go.
So, did you see me edit this in create users table?
Yes.
Is that okay to do?
Yeah, that's
Just
fine.
edit it straight there. Okay, great.
Mhm.
So now we would implement everything we'd need in here, right?
Yeah, for the links. And
Okay, for the links.
if you take a look, it created some basic things for us in the links.
So let's see. Huh. It did our ID already, and it also did the timestamps. So that's cool.
Exactly. And that's mainly because and it's also like schema creating the table itself.
Yes. Okay.
And that's because we put the word create in there. These functions would be empty if we only just did like links table.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. So now I guess we start populating the up
Yeah,
function.
exactly. So we know what needs to go in here.
Yes, precisely. Let me get that on the second window. So I'm thinking you should do uh, a nullable uh, a nullable integer, but not an incrementing integer.
Correct. Yes.
So whatever it is, I know it needs to have this nullable thing. So I'll have to figure that
And
out in a second.
if you want to go in Laravel's documentation, they have a list of all of the data types
Okay. Uh,
somewhere in the database section.
let's see. Database, getting started, query builder, migrations. Here we go. Columns. Let's go for this. Here we go. Column type. So big integer is what we'd want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So big. And we'd name this event ID. Okay. So there's our event ID. Now let's do the user ID. And that cannot be null. So
Right.
keep it there, and we're good. So you want the text as well. What's a link without its text? And that would be a string. As well as. Now, I would like to see if this is a thing. Is there some sort of.
You have the available column types.
Let's see. Control F is not doing me justice. Let me find that again. I accidentally got all creating column. So binary boolean character date time tz decimal double enum nope float. Ooh, that's cool. Enum. That's so nice. Anyways, float geometry increments integer IP address. Whoa, huh? They've got to have like wait. It wouldn't be an IP address, right? But or
No.
would it? Okay. So JSON B. Huh, interesting. line string, long text, MAC address. I feel like they're gonna have it. I really do. Medium increments, medium integer, medium text, Morse multi-line string. That's interesting too. Multi-point, huh? Polygon, nullable morphs, nullable timestamps, point polygon, remember token, set, small increments, soft deletes. Ooh, there's your soft deletes that you were talking about. Anyways, string, text, time, time z, timestamp, timestamps, tiny increments, tiny integer, unsigned bit integer, unsigned decimal, unsigned integer. Dang it, they don't have it. That's tragic.
No, they don't. So you're gonna have to use a string.
Dang it. I totally thought they were gonna. I guess that's fine. You know.
Now, something to be aware of is that string, um, to the right. If you take a look at the data type string
Mm-hmm.
and the description of it,
Right.
it's a var char or var chair.
Okay.
I don't know how many people.
I know. Yeah. It's like GIF versus GIF. So I just say character and I say GIF.
Right, but here's the problem. Varchar is default, or I think it defaults. The maximum length is 255 characters.
Okay.
So if our strings, like if the text or the two cannot go beyond 250 characters, 255 characters, then we can use string. If, however, we believe that they can go beyond that, like that we're going to allow that, then it might be better to use text.
Interesting. Text. Oh. Huh. I didn't know that existed. I guess I just brushed over it. So the difference is, what is the difference?
The number of characters that you're allowed to store in that cell.
So it doesn't have a limit to it. A text doesn't have a limit.
Yeah, sure. There's no limit to it. That's a small lie. There
Yeah.
is a limit. It's just really, really big.
It's virtually. Is it dynamic? Will it allocate the same amount of space depending on the size, or would that be what a string is for?
I can't remember what the database does internally and how that works. Um, so let's just say that it allows you to put in whatever size of text you want right now.
So I think we should do text for description, and we should use a string for a link text. Like I don't think anybody's gonna have a link with the text 100 characters long or more. I think that's
All right.
they're
Then
misusing
then
a
we'll go
link.
ahead and do that. Now we're using.
But it's
Oh,
good to know. Like I didn't know about that either. I
well, and
remember
this
dealing
is
with it though.
well, this is also for like different databases respect these limits differently.
Okay.
So, for example, if we use MySQL versus Postgres, they may have different limits on it. Like for the
Okay.
the default varchar might be slightly different. Um, Another thing that's interesting is that if you try to use like varchar and set the limit to like 10 characters, let's say,
Right.
then um, what is it? We're using the simple MySQL. Where is that?
Oh, I thought we were using SQLite.
Yeah, we're using SQLite.
Okay.
I think of that as simple MySQL.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the big difference about that is that SQLite doesn't respect the varchar limitations. So they'll allow you to sort of like go as big as you want.
Huh. So
But
even if
other
we
databases will
specify,
not.
huh?
Even
That's
if we specify that it like we only want it to be like 10 characters or 20 characters.
it's kind of mean.
Well, it's because they're a light version of a database. They're not really meant for like full application.
Hmm.
Now, because of that, we could put everything in strings, but then if we go to and if we use MySQL or Postgres in production, we could run into trouble.
Okay.
So let's do what we'd have to worry with in production.
So, I guess we still will just go with the default, I guess.
Well,
Or
I
should we
think you're.
restrict it and make sure that it's the same restriction on the front end when the user goes to enter the length or
I'm
the
actually
text?
fine with leaving it for default. So like string, not giving it a number to limit it, but we should also be aware of when we want to use text.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. I think description probably we'd need a text for that, but not for like not for a link. Oh
Right.
well, I don't know. What if the to link is really long? Do you think like is there a limit on? I don't think there is a limit on a URL length. We won't
There
worry about that.
is,
I
but
feel
it's
like
several
there's
thousand characters.
ooh whatever. I don't think we should worry about that too much.
So let's not worry about it right now. If we run into bugs, we will deal with it then.
But even then, like no biggie, the user can just make a tiny URL and then paste that in for the to. But that's
They could.
anyways.
So are we finished making links?
I think so. I
The
think
the well, yes and no. There's these line 18 and 19.
18 and 19. Okay.
These are actually not working. So we're saying that we want to store like the user ID and the event ID,
Okay.
but we also need a special line to tell the database that there is a reference, there is a relation between this and the other tables.
Okay.
Now, the user table exists, like we have a migration for that. The event table does not. We don't have a migration for that at all. So it's going to be very difficult for us to create the migration line for us, but we might be able to get away through it. In the
Okay.
documentation, in the migrations page, there is a section for how to create um, the relations.
Oh. Okay. Um so that's really interesting. Let's try this. So is it something like did I spell that right? Yeah. No. No. Yes. EIGN. EIGN. Okay. So then it references. See it. I mean, it's doing all of this. So ID is the thing we have in users table. Yeah. Okay. Great. Um,
Exactly. Yes.
and then on tells us the database. So
It tells not the database,
I mean the table. Sorry.
right? The table name.
So it's users all lowercase. There we go. Well, great. Wow, that's really nice. So we'd have to do the same thing with this. References ID, and we'll just have to name it ID on, and oh, I probably could have used those. I guess we'll name it. We'll have to name it events now.
Yeah. We're basically kind of setting it up for ourselves and saying like, okay, this is how it's going to be.
So it's like hooking it up. I honestly thought that we were gonna have to do it ourselves. But it seems like with these, it's gonna kind of handle some of it for us. That's nice.
Well, it kind of is doing it ourselves.
Well, I was thinking like we'll have to say the query, and then we'll have to make another query for each of those. Uh, well, I guess I don't know exactly, but
So if we were using a NoSQL database like Mongo,
yes.
then we definitely would have to do that.
Okay.
This is one of the benefits of using a relational database, though.
Uh huh.
There is one other uh, element that we can add in here, which is the on cascade delete.
Yes. So I did see that. So on delete cascade. Um so what I'm thinking, like, so they say you may also specify the desired action for the on delete. Uh so to drop a foreign key, you may use the drop foreign method. Foreign key constraints use the same naming convention as indexes. Okay.
So we probably don't need that, but what we do want to pay attention to is this on delete cascade.
Okay. So what I'm confused about, let me see if I can find more about. Nope, that's the only thing it has about on delete. So like, is that when if we delete the user, it'll cascade to like if I have this. No, I, so like on delete cascade. So that will delete this link if the reference to the user ID, if that user is deleted, then it'll also delete this link. Is that what it's saying?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, that makes. I was like super confused about exactly what they meant by that, but
Yeah, and this is not a Laravel thing. This is a SQL database thing.
okay. I like that.
So the entire point of this is to prevent dangling
Data.
rows that like are can only be used with specific other rows in another table, but then those rows don't exist anymore. And so now you have essentially zombie or ghost data that literally cannot be found
I have
ever.
no reference.
Exactly. And that can actually cause a lot of problems um, if you're trying to like do your joins and you've deleted a lot of stuff. Now you just have a lot of things that don't they're just taking up
They just
space.
exist, yeah. Gunking
Right.
everything up.
Exactly. Now the on delete cascade also introduces another problem, which is now you have a reliance on order.
Really?
Well, let's think about it. Can you create a link? Um, can you even create this links table if the users table doesn't exist yet?
No.
Right, exactly. And so we now have a problem. The migrations, when we execute them and run them, are will run in order
Okay.
um, from top to bottom in the file. And we now have a reliance on the events table that doesn't exist.
So, if we just create the events migration real quick, do you think it's smart enough to know when to create each table?
No, of course not. The timestamp, so that time at the beginning of the file, that's when we ran the create migration command.
Wait, where is that?
Take a look at the file
Oh,
name.
okay, yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah, okay.
So let's go ahead. Let's create the events table migration.
Okay, let's see. So, create events is what I named it. Table. So, there's that. I'm gonna save create links real quick, just so nothing happens to
Yeah, that's a
it.
good idea.
um. So then now we just do like we did, and hopefully everything goes well.
We do like we did. We have to now create the events. We will run into a bug when we try to run these, and that's simply because like we'll get this nasty error because it's going to try to create the links table before the events table.
Okay. So we'll have to watch out for that and then figure out what to do about it, I guess.
Exactly. But let's go ahead and not worry about the second. Keep that in mind, and I'll show you how we can fix that.
Okay, great. So we do a foreign and we call it user ID, and then its reference is to the ID on the what is it? Oh, references. Okay. It references ID on and user. It's the users. Oh, oopsies. On users. And then we also want to do the on delete Cascade.
Right. Yes.
Not sponsored by Cascade. And then we have the regular ones, so just string title. And then this one, however, though, this is going to be the text.
Right. Yes.
There we go. I think that's it for events. Now we just have to do the stream times.
So let's go ahead and create the stream times.
Now let's go like this. So if it's multiple words, do I use an underscore between the word as well? So like,
Yes, and so I can tell you the reason why we do that is most databases don't really support capital letters.
that sounds silly.
And it's not that they don't support capital letters, is that they won't differentiate between the two. You'd have to use special quotes just to like tell it actually look for this capital, this capital letter. Otherwise, you're going to get the same. You'll get weird results.
So like if we have an events table and then we have an events table but with a capital E, we couldn't differentiate between the two without using the quotes, I guess.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we'll just always use lowercase.
Exactly.
So,
Don't. Yeah.
with the underscores. So create times table. Let's do it. Stream times table, not just times table. So we've got our big increment, and now we want our event ID. Okay. So foreign event ID references ID on, and we called it events. And then, of course, on delete, we want to cascade as well.
Yeah, it's generally a good idea to like just reach for on delete cascade. There's a few times when you probably don't want to do that, but generally speaking, you will.
So I guess on a soft delete, we'd have to have the soft delete feature on these stream times too, so that on delete we'd cascade the soft delete.
That's a good question. On delete, a soft delete is actually not a real delete, so it won't cascade.
Well, I mean, you want to
As far
set like the deleted column to true on everything that has a reference to it, right?
Correct, you definitely do want to do that, but I guess like the big thing here is that um, soft deletes are updates, not deletes.
Okay. Huh. Anyways, we
Therefore, the
don't really
data.
need to worry about it. Anyways, like, but it's
Right,
interesting to
yeah.
think
We're not
about.
going to worry about soft deletes here. We're going to let people truly delete their data if they want to.
Okay, great. So table foreign. Now we need just the start time, end time. Oh wait, timestamp. Start time. Table. Timestamp. End time. There we go. So I
So
think that's everything. Could it be? I think it is.
I'm checking to see if there's also a date. There's a date and there's a timestamp.
Oh, okay. Um,
So it's a question of like which one do we want?
so I think we want.
There's also a time.
Okay, what we need the difference then. Uh, so a date. So if we look into SQLite date.
And we're in reality we're probably going to use Postgres. So let's just take a look at the Postgres one. And if necessary, we can probably next time set up the database to be a real like Postgres
Mhm.
database um as opposed to like SQLite.
So I'm gonna go off on a limb and I'm thinking that it's gonna be a date time. A date time equivalent column. So I'll Postgres a date time. Um, let's see. I hope it's date time because that's just intuitively what I'd go for, but I don't know if um let's see. Date input. I mean, it seems like it's the one. It really does to me. I'm seeing this ISO and everything. Let's see. They do have the timestamps. I'm getting a little bit confused. Data type, date time. Let me look at what just a date is, and then from there, see the difference and see what would be the better fit. Because I doubt it's timestamp. Timestamp wouldn't make sense to me, at least. Um, this is weird. It's weird. So just a date is apparently a date equivalent column, and then there's also a date time, but I can't find a difference in the Postgres documentation. It's date slash time. Timestamp, time, and interval, except optional precision. Oh, so this is all of the dates and all of the time related columns. This is kind of confusing. Huh.
Yeah, so in Laravel, there's some of those different types are Laravel types, and then they map to different types in different databases depending upon which database you use.
Right, okay.
So let's stick with like the basics. Let's choose date or timestamp.
Well, what if we want a time in there? Like it's a day and a time.
Okay.
Like
So what type is that?
I think it's date time. I mean, just semantically it would make sense because that's what I'd use in JavaScript. And but I can't really find much documentation about it for some reason.
All
Or
right, I
I'm
sent
just
you a
not reading it.
Postgres doc. I sent you a link to a Postgres page, the docs page.
Let's see. Yeah, so that's what I'm on right now. Oh wait, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm on. Wait, no, this is different. Or is it? Okay. Anyways, I'll just go ahead and read it. Um, so date, okay. Table 8 through 9, date slash time types. Okay. So they've got a date and they've got a time, but they don't have a date time, as I expected.
Right. Exactly. Let's take a look at date. Like what look at the description for that.
So it's a date with no time of day.
Right. And then they also have a time.
Oh, okay. They have the time, okay, and that's just
Which
time of
is
day with no date.
right, exactly. So we could do both. We could do date and time, like separately.
It sounds like a
But
headache.
it is. Then take a look at timestamp.
Oh, what? Yeah. Okay.
Now, if we scroll down, they have examples of what each one would be like. So, for example, in section 8511, table 810, there's the dates.
Okay, yes, I see that.
So, like, all of these are valid dates. And then they have all the valid times.
Mm-hmm.
And then keep on going down, and you have the valid time stamps.
Okay. So we'd want ours with the time zone.
Quite possibly, yes. Because we need to be able to, like, we need to be able to update and say, like, okay, well, this is the time zone it was set in,
And
so therefore
then
let's update
convert it.
everything else.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So great. We'll use a timestamp then. We do indeed want a timestamp. Okay, great. So now that all the
And
migrations are done,
well, the migrations aren't done. We need to actually, like, set the timestamps properly with the time zone.
so do we add a TZ in there or?
Yeah, exactly.
So let me make sure exactly what I'm doing. Time zone. Oh wait, I mean timestamp. TZ. Yeah, capital T, lowercase z. There we go. So that should be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be good. Are there any other tables we need to make?
We have the stream times, we have the events, we have the links, and the users was created at the beginning. So I
All
think
right.
that's it.
Let's go ahead and try to create these tables by, we're going to do a fresh migrate. Now, the reason we're going to do a fresh migrate is because we made a change to the users table.
Okay. Yes. Will it keep our
And
data in there or
no, it's going to delete all of our data.
dang it? Okay.
Now, if we want to keep the data in there, then we can't make a change to the users table.
Well, we
Like
kind
that
of need
users
that
migration
change.
itself.
Yeah. We'll have to sacrifice the data.
Right. Now, the option is we can undo the change we did to the user's migration file and create another user's migration file that just updates.
I mean, I guess we can try that.
We don't have to worry about that right this second. Let's go ahead and
Okay.
just delete everything. But in the future, we'll probably need to do some kind of update.
So I'm thinking it'll be PHP artisan migrate refresh.
So I think it's migrate refresh or migrate fresh.
On the it says refresh here, I think. Yeah.
Well, there's fresh and
Oh,
refresh.
oh, there is a fresh. I didn't notice that. I was like, where's the fresh he's talking about?
Yeah, so
Drop all
refresh,
tables.
reset, and rerun all migrations, and fresh is drop all tables and rerun all migrations.
So fresh then.
Yeah, let's do fresh and just delete everything.
Great. And here we
All right.
go, are the errors.
Here's our fun errors here.
Okay, so migrating, and then we got to the links table, and it's like a general error.
Right. So let's take a look at this error and see what it's trying to tell us.
So unknown column user ID in foreign key definition. Okay, yeah, that's our reference uh, to the users table. ID integer not null primary key auto increment. Yeah, that seems about right. Text not null. To not null. Okay, it's just telling us. Okay, it's just describing our schema there. That took me a while. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so if we take a look at it, it shows like the command that actually got run. It tried to do the command created at like it and then it
Oh,
failed.
okay. So query exception. That's probably the framework doing its thing. Exception trace general. Okay.
Well, if we take a look at what was like, can we tell what migration this had a problem with?
It never migrated the links.
Or it had a problem in creating the links table.
Yes. Okay.
So we can see like, okay, it migrated, create users table, and then migrated, create users table.
Yes, but it
So for
never
example,
finished the links.
starting to create the users table and then finished creating the users table.
Right.
So somewhere in the links table, it failed.
It's not giving us the exact reason though.
Well, it's trying to. It's saying unknown column user ID in foreign key definition.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see that.
And so if we take a look at that, user ID references user's ID. Um,
So user ID references ID on users. So users is the right one, and they do have an ID. It's a big increment, but why is it an unknown column?
so let's go back to the documentation again and take a look at like, did we do that right or wrong? And I think we did the foreign key stuff incorrect. So if we can get like an actual example of how they do that.
Oh, interesting. Yes. So, what it is saying to do, it is saying to create the actual column for it first, and then assign it.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So, I guess, would that be an unsigned big integer? Or would it just be a big integer?
Let's match whatever they have in the table that we're going to. So for example, in this case, this is going to the users table. So if we take a look at the create users,
Well, it's
they're
just
just
a big
using
increment, right?
right. And there is such a thing as a big unsigned increment. So
So it's just a big integer.
yes.
Okay. We probably do want to use the unsigned though, but whatever.
I
That's how
mean,
it
in
comes.
reality, using unsigned is better, but
No biggie.
it's not a big deal right here because the database won't decrement it and make it negative. It just doesn't. It won't do that.
Right.
We're just limiting the number of rows that we can put in by allowing the numbers to have negative values.
That's an interesting idea of like what happens when we exceed the amount that that we can store. Like Will it wrap
The
over on
database
itself
will,
and go negative?
no, the database will stop working.
Just completely?
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure, it's a nightmare, but I mean, it's not like there won't be errors. We'll get
Right, yeah,
errors,
okay.
and there's ways to fix that. And what we would do is we could just change the big increments to be
Even
unsigned
bigger. Oh, yeah, or unsigned.
at
Yeah.
that time. But
Even
okay,
bigger
we
increments.
let's save this file and rerun our migration.
Oh, wait, but we're still going to run into issues with the rest of them, right?
Oh yeah, let's make those changes to the rest of them then.
So create event. We've got this 4-in-1. So we do want a big integer user ID. So that's that one. And then this one, we've got an event ID, which is also a big integer. There we go. I think that's it.
All right, let's rerun and see what happens.
No errors that time. Great.
I'm actually surprised that it worked. I was expecting there to be an error due to the timing of creating the links
Yeah.
table
Before
first.
the events or
But
something? Or something like
yeah,
that.
apparently it works for SQLite. I have no idea if this is going to work for like a Postgres database.
Right. So you think like SQLite is just smart enough, or do you think it's like just not telling us about its issues?
Possibly, it's hard to tell. Smart enough is really hard to say with SQLite because it's a very 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 dumb database.
It's okay, SQLite. We still love you.
It's actually one of the best parts of SQLite is that it's such a small database.
Oh, great. I guess that's why you're using it for the first time.
Well, yeah, and then for reality, you go to someplace else, and we can change it, and we'll probably will eventually migrate over and start using Postgres in in our sort of like testing once we now that we're doing more complex things.
Right. Right.
So let's actually maybe play around with this and test things out.
Do you think we can try to seed it within the next 3 minutes or something?
What we can do is we can create a seed file.
Okay. So it was make cedar. I'm gonna do the help on that. And it's just the name. So make cedar for.
And then this one is going to be a class. So this is Pascal case.
Okay, so what do we want to make it for? The users or the links or events or streams? I don't really know.
I mean, it's up to us, right? Like we can any of them are fine.
Well, I'm afraid that if we try to make the users, then it's gonna have trouble with the signing in and everything like that.
There is that we'd have to figure that out. Let's not worry about that right now because there's actually a system. If we go over to let's see, where is it? It is not in database factories. There's a user
Factories.
factory.
Ooh, interesting. A user factory. Oh, interesting. And they all have the same password for some reason. Oh, wait, this looks like it's hashed already or something.
It's hashed, but they tell you in the comment exactly what that password is.
Password. Oh! I didn't realize that that was the actual password.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Good password. Good on ya. Whoever made that. Very,
Well,
very
this
safe
is this
password.
is not meant for creating actual real users. This is
Yeah.
meant for creating like fake
Dummies.
users. Exactly. So we could we already have a user seed,
Okay.
and we can take a
So,
look at how this factory. Well, we have a factory for users. We don't have a user seed.
okay.
We just have a database. Um,
Cedar, right?
so if you want, you can create a user's seed first. So create one and call it users table seeder,
Like that. And, okay.
and that gives us this class that we can use.
Okay.
Now inside of it, we have to tell it to run the factory, and I constantly forget what the actual command is to like get the factory running, but it shouldn't be that hard for us to find the documentation for us.
Let's see. It wouldn't be define. No, because then we'd have to pass in a faker function, and we don't have. Or oh wait, wait.
Well,
We'd have to call the faker function with a faker.
right, yes, but we have a factory that's going to do that for us.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to have to worry about the faker. So in the documentation, then, what does that say about it?
Have you found the seeding documentation yet?
Seeding. There it is. So running wiring seeders using modal factories. Okay. So I don't know if this is what we did. Calling additional seeders. Okay, that's not exactly what we want to do. I want to run a factory, not a seeder. Using the factories. Oh, I think I see it. Create. Wait. I think I see it. I don't know if this is right, but if we do, it seems to be a global, is it? It seems to go like this. And what they did, I don't know. I don't even know where they're getting these things. Let's create 50 users and attach a relationship to each user. So, man, this is kind of nuts.
So let's just be really, really simple right now.
Um, I mean, they've got in the run function. Oh, you just go like this. So whatever our database is. Oh, oopsies. They just call the table, and this is users, and they just say insert.
Okay, so you could do this, but we're going to use the model factory because one already exists for us.
Okay.
In Laravel, I found that if you're manually messing with the database, then you're doing it the hard way.
Okay.
So we don't need this entire line.
It did seem quite exhaustive.
Exactly. So you were on the right path. We're going to do the factory.
So like this. Shoot, why can't I focus on the right? There we go. Okay. And then they reference the class, which is odd. I don't really know how to do that. I guess I'm just gonna do it like this. See what that does. And they create 50, which I guess 50 is a bit much, but like, no biggie, right?
I mean, we can delete this database as often as we want. And we don't need to do the each right now because
Okay.
we don't need to like create like all sorts of other stuff associated with the user right now. We're just
Okay.
going to create and then make.
So then, like that?
Let's try it. Well, before we run this, we need to go to the actual the database seeder full file,
Okay, and then we need to say,
and we just uncomment this. That's it.
nice, because it's already user table seeder.
Because you called the class the user's table seeder the same name that it had already in that seeder file, it's going to be able to find it.
Great. So now we do the PHP artisan run seeder. Hang on, let me see. Running seeders. There we go. So db:/seed. So like that, it seems. And we can specify a class, but I think we've only got one, so let's go for it. Database seeding complete successfully.
Well, let's jump into Tinker and see if we have 50 users now.
So or just all.
It's not dot.
Oh, right.
Yes. Take a look at that.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, they look fine. Wait, how
We
did
have
they
50
get the faker? That's nuts. Like,
Oh,
comes up with
okay.
a
So
special name.
take a look at the factory.
Name. They've got a faker name, and it gives you a fake name. That's fun.
Faker is actually it's a famous library, and I don't know if there's a PHP version of this. I guess there's a PHP version of this one, but you can definitely get one in npm too. And it's really nice for creating like just fake data really quickly and without having to think about it.
They all have the same timestamp because they were all created. I was thinking, it might actually. I guess because this timestamp is created by the database, but whatever. Okay. I wonder if you can hijack those in order to test something.
Yes, you can. You can definitely test that. Like we could probably come in and add a created at and updated at here.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. We don't really need to worry about that now, but
No, definitely not. What we're gonna do, and we could do this next time. So I'm gonna switch over to the README, and we can say, let's see, next time. Our plan is to build out, build the rest of the database seeds.
awesome.
So we need the rest of the database seeds, and then this also allows us, we can log in with each of these users.
Okay, great. Yeah. Awesome. It automatically
And
creates
we can
password and everything. That's lovely.
exactly. And so we can play around with this, but the next time we're gonna build the rest of the database seeds, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, great. Let's see if we actually finished any. Where is it? Hang on. I'm gonna look at our. I'm trying to find our GitHub repo. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out what I'm trying to say. What was the name of this? Streaming. There. Nope. Huh. Why am I having such issue finding this. Maybe I put it in my description, did I? It might be easier to get it from there.
Here, I'll send it to you.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. There we go. So, in our issues, I feel like we resolved something. Nope, we did not.
Nope, we did. Yeah, we definitely did not.
Uh, the databases need to be populated, which requires factories. Links. We need to do the links. We need to do the schedules and events. There we go. Okay. So just did that. Just made an issue for that for next time, so we can actually close an issue next time. But yeah, it's 10:10 over here now. I didn't know
Yeah.
if we're saving the seating for next time. Then
Yeah, we're definitely saving the rest of the seating for next time. So we're pretty much at the end. Um, so do we want to do a quick recap?
yeah. So we didn't do a lot, but we did get something big done. It was we planned out what the database is going to look like, exactly what it was going to be like according to our front end, and then based off of that, we actually created the migrations for them.
Right. Yes, and we were able to play with the seeds. So that next time we can do the rest of them.
Great.
So I am going to add all of these changes up to GitHub. So in this case, created migrations for the tables. For the tables. Send
Awesome.
that on up. I sent out a link to all of you who are watching. You can go and take a look at the code. I'll also have the link in the description of the archives. We're doing this stream every Sunday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time or 8 a.m.
Standard
Central
time.
Time. Yeah. Whatever time zone you're in.
Yep.
And then so that's once per week. I myself am doing a sort of like a weekday streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:45 a.m. Mountain Time for about an hour and a half or so. Where can people find you, Kale?
They can find me on my Twitter. Twitter.com/Kalinator17 or on my YouTube channel.
And I'll have a link to Kale's Twitter and YouTube channel as well. You have been streaming these on your channel, and so people can watch your side of things over there.
My archives are here, as well as a couple other videos if you want to check them out too.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're about done. So, any last words?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right. Well, with that, I hope that you all have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.